watching VileMike and his real wild child. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel down, cause you're watching VileMike and his real wild child.
Howdy, folks. It's VileMike here, and so far I got Elihu with me. How you doing, man?
I think I'm here physically, but not mentally.
So nothing's changed.
No.
Before the stream, I was telling Elihu that I heard about it before, but I finally decided to listen to him while I was working. Doctor Who is on Tubi, a lot of the old episodes.
Doctor Who Classic Channel.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of them, actually. And I just would throw up one of the shows. Hold on. Add to the stage. I'm assuming that's you and not one of those fakers.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
Okay, so we know it's you. And yeah, I probably listened to like 30 episodes of Doctor Who this week while I was working, just listening to them like a podcast.
Which doctor?
Turn up your volume.
Doctors 1 and 4.
And adjust the volume.
Is that better?
No.
It's fine for me. I don't know about you.
No, your volume mic is normal, but NB is like he is standing 55 feet away from his microphone in a tunnel.
Well, he sounds fine to me. I don't know why it's coming out weird for you, though.
Okay, just
Is
weird.
it better now?
To me, no difference.
All right, I'm gonna drop out and come back in.
All right. As I said, I'm not hearing it. Is anyone in the chat hearing issues with NB?
I don't understand that because you sound perfect, but he sounded odd.
Well, I'm just saying it sounded fine to me. And while listening to some of those episodes, you can definitely tell there was some changes in the writing between, that era of TV versus today.
Yeah, Hartnell had a couple different writing structure changes.
Well, not just Hartnell, even Tom Baker. And I'm surprised. How did hold on, let me bring him back.
All right, is this any better?
Yes.
Okay.
Keep it down. I can't hear the vacuum. No, how did Sarah Jane Smith become such a popular companion when she was vastly underutilized in most of the episodes she was in? At least the ones I was listening to.
You gotta pay attention to her facial expressions and her reactions. She had the best reactions to anything that happened, whether it was a Cyberman, the doctor's speech. Yeah, it was like her reaction.
That might have been part of the issue. Elihu, that might have been part of the issue because I was just listening to the episodes. I wasn't watching them. And it's so often she's sent off to do something away from the action. And it's just kind of interesting how they just did that over and over again. Yeah, the things that she would find were important to the plot later on, but it's like they literally tried to keep her away from any danger at all times.
That's why you got to watch it. If you notice the other companions, they're like, oh no, or like, oh yeah, Sarah's like, it's like, oh yeah, it's like she said it perfectly, just right as soon as that tagline stops, her reaction's like, yes, or no. Yeah, she was always perfect on that.
She was like the one who had the light bulb go off at the right time.
Yeah, like you.
Well, she definitely seemed to start, from what I could tell, started the trend of being one of those companions that now implicitly trust the doctor because they've been around them for a while. Because, Rose had that thing.
Donna.
Oh God, what was her name?
Billy.
The one, Donna. A lot of the modern companions, they almost within a few episodes start really trusting the doctor, trusting his intelligence, trusting that he'll get him out of the mess. And that seems to start with her, from what I can see, or from what I heard. Because even they had the second companion on the Baker run that I was listening to, an army doctor, or a unit doctor, I should say.
Yeah, she was. She was in the first season of his run, but then she was replaced with Sarah Jane Smith. I remember. I forgot her name.
Well, I hadn't got to that point yet when she was replaced.
I just have to say,
But it's like they have this new second male companion who is, as I said, it was just kind of weird because he's the one who's thrust into the action a lot. I mean, there's an episode where he even gets shot at the beginning, and that's what sets off the whole plot. Darren says NB's audio is coming through a different mic, he thinks.
It
The audio was a little off. It's a little bit better, but it's still off, though.
This is the best I can do right now, guys.
No problem. What is that chiming noise?
Oh, that was me adjusting my volume.
Oh, okay.
Try turning. Is your echo cancellation on?
Yeah, it's on. My reduced mic background noise is on. Automatically, auto mic adjust is on. Huh.
Well, if you want to actually see me, Dandelion, I am wearing a bandana that Mrs. Vile gave to me yesterday, as well as a shirt she got me.
And I have my baby Grogu on, of course,
which is blending into the background a little bit, so he looks like pot leaves.
Yes. Yeah. See, I like that.
I'm wearing my Father's Day gift, dude. My wife got me a robe.
Toodles.
Unfortunately, I said I wanted a bathrobe for Father's Day, and I said I don't want one of those stupid silk, crappy looking things that I see at the store. I was like, I want one of those nice ones that you get out of, the ones you got at the hotel.
Oh, you don't want to be Hugh Hefner. You want a Hilton robe.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. The comfortable soft. Yeah, comfortable soft ones. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Instead, I look like dude. I literally. I said that reference.
I haven't owned a robe in a while.
I've been wanting one for a long time. I never got around to buying it. And every time I thought about it, I would be at like a store, and I'd be like, "Well, where are the men's robes?" And they go over. It's like this silk, this satin. I'm like, that's not what I want.
Do I have to check out to a Hilton and steal a robe? Come on.
And Darren's confirming or correcting. Hugh Hefner wore a smoking jacket, not a robe.
Yeah, but didn't he have those things custom made?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it may have been a smoking jacket, but it was, if I remember correctly, wasn't some of them floor length?
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure he wore.
Or is that just the Mandela effect in my mind? I like seeing the thing be floor length when it actually wasn't. He was just wearing matching pants or something.
Oh, kind of like the Monopoly guy wearing the moniker.
Monocle, yeah.
He never had a monocle.
We all thought he did. Like you said.
Well, I never thought he did. I was confused about that because I'm like, no, he never did. Mr. Peanut is the one that had the monocle.
That is true. Mr. Peanut did have the monocle. Shit, were we always just confusing the two?
Probably.
I think so. I honestly think that people in their heads combined certain mascots and they were creating attributes because I had one person try to tell me that the mustache of the Monopoly guy is wrong now. And when he described it, I'm like, that's the Pringles guy mustache.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it's like,
sorry.
I think people just combine things in their heads.
Well, I found it happening.
But yeah, it was so funny. I when I put the robe, when I got the robe, and I was my father-in-law was here yesterday, and he saw me in the robe, and I'm sitting there, and I'm wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt and a pair of sweatpants, and I'm like, I look like dude, and my wife laughs, and my father-in-law does not get the reference.
All you gotta do is go easy, man. Just chill.
What was it I heard about that movie is the reason why they kept telling what's his name to shut the fuck up was because of all the talking he did in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was that reason or not, but it was just funny.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
No, I think Elihu's right. I think Elihu and I have heard that story that was the running joke in Big Lebowski.
Well, it was definitely a running joke in the movie, but I don't know if that's the reason why.
Yeah, so many lines. They wanted his presence with very little lines. I mean, Steve totally agreed on this. He's like, okay, sure, I'll be in the movie. Less lines to memorize.
All right, let's go bowling.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Well, hold on.
Hello.
And what is this you're trying to share?
Oh, sorry, that was just you. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's not floor length at all, but
I thought he sometimes wore a mid-calf
I
one.
could not find one. All I found with him in a robe and pants. I cannot find a full floor-length picture of him.
Right.
Maybe he
Well,
likes-
that's
maybe-
okay then. Maybe it was in movies or something that they used a longer one because they were worried. Because didn't they usually in movies show him with like bare legs, and you don't want a bend over incident if the robe is too short? Because nobody needs to see that old dude's junk dangling down around his knees. Sorry.
Now,
I
what
don't know
was
what
it in Iron Man? Was it one where Stan Lee did the cameo as kind of like Hugh Hefner? Was he in
I
a
think it
robe
was
in that one?
Let me see. Stanley. Let me check this.
I don't know. As I said, I think this is just the Mandela effect and I'm not saying the Mandela effect is actually real. I'm just saying that it's people misremembering.
I think none of us want to think about the man wearing a short robe.
No.
Is what it comes
No.
down. So we automatically, our brains give him a longer robe because of bend over incidents.
I
Or the
cannot find
potential.
I cannot find a full length image of Stan Lee, but it looks like he is wearing a robe, not a smoking jacket.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I wonder if that was just always something we just, like Dandelion said, that makes the most sense. Is like we always just kind of imagined him in that robe because of the bend over effect.
The bend over effect.
Hey, man.
Mandela effect. We're worried about the bend over effect.
Hey, we had the Mandela effect, so we wouldn't have to worry about the bend over effect.
That's right. Our brains
Poor-
see what we want
Poor
to see.
Ben. Poor Ben.
Well, now I have the song stuck in my head. Do your balls hang low? Do they wobble to and fro? Can you tie them in a knot? Can you tie them in a bow?
Can you hang my shoulder like a toy wooden soldier?
I prefer
Continental
AC/DC.
Soldier.
Continental soldier.
I prefer my balls are always big and my balls are always bouncing.
Hey, we got the biggest balls of them
Look at
all.
He's got big balls. She's
She's
got
got big balls.
but we
You
got the
big
biggest.
balls. Balls of them all.
All right, let's hope that's actually Darren and not someone pretending to be Darren.
Did
What
someone
shape is the earth?
shut up? Did someone say Mandela effect?
Yes.
As I said, I don't think the Mandela effect is actually real. I'm using it as a reference point because of collective stupidity.
I think it's real, but I don't think it's about alternate reality. I just think it's about how human memory works and how it can sometimes not work.
Yeah, that's how I'm using it because I think people combine certain memories into one because that's how humans tend to do things.
Save space on the hard
we
drive.
all agree that we don't really want to think about Hugh Hefner wearing a short robe.
Agreed.
Well,
Right.
Well, when you think about it and you're trying to remember back to things, You ever notice that sometimes you're trying to figure out where, you remember an event, but you're trying to figure out where it exactly happened at?
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah,
what's this?
The giveaway when it comes to Mandela effect and whether it's a memory phenomenon or something more cosmic is that it never seems to happen with anything that isn't trivial. It's trivial stuff, whether it's the Berenstain Bears and how that was spelled, or whether it's Jiffy Pop, Jiffy Lube, or Jif peanut butter, that kind of stuff. It's just these were never really important things, right? And I'm sorry to say, but the reason why it's called the Mandela effect in part is because I believe that people were misconstruing Nelson Mandela with Steve Biko. He was the guy who in South Africa who got killed in prison. They made a movie with him with Denzel Washington and Kevin Kline, and that was a huge movie. That was like won all kinds of Academy Awards and stuff. And so I think people were cross-pollinating those two men in their memories, and that's where we get it.
That's what I think it is people just they combine their memories from two separate events into a single one. I literally had a conversation this week with somebody who was telling me, because I told him that one of my first computers was a 286 that ran Windows 3.11, and he was like, he was telling me that he remembers 3.11, and he didn't like how they did the start menu. And I'm like, they didn't have a start menu for 3.1 or 3.11. They didn't have that till Windows 95. And he was arguing with me over it until I showed him the actual screen.
Yeah. Memory is a weird thing, and it's when especially when it comes to trivial memory, it's something I'm not 100% sure about. Like then I'll stop and say okay, let's take a look here because I gotta find. This is gonna annoy me now. Let's go ahead and find out for real, and then it's like I'm trying to think of an example that I let's see.
Well, I would also attribute it to the fact that a lot of people don't like being told they're wrong about something.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
So they will come up with vast excuses as to why they are not wrong, including, temporal mechanics, apparently.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not wrong. The world is wrong, right? It's like...
the evidence is wrong.
No, it's like I said the other day. Blaming the fans because your show sucks is like a barber complaining because a guy came in for a haircut.
Well, I mean, that's a little different, but I mean, yeah, I get you. I get your segue, but no. I would also disagree with that because it's your opinion that the show sucks. Other people might say this is a vast improvement, and you're like, I think your opinion is wrong.
No. Let me specify here. I'm talking about when you're the showrunner and you're mad at the fans because they don't like your show. That's like saying, okay, I'm mad at you because you came in and wanted to get a haircut. Now I got to work. And then I got to worry about you criticizing my work.
No, I think it's more of a person comes in with a picture of the hair they want. The barber tries their best to accommodate that, and it doesn't look good on that person, and then they complain.
And then you blame the customer because customer just doesn't understand your vision.
Right. It's like that scene.
I was thinking more of you're complaining about the barber.
Are you going for a perm and then you come out with a mohawk?
Yeah. It's like that scene from Fleabag where the woman went in because she wanted this very trendy French hairstyle, and then she got it and she realized she looked ridiculous in it and went back and they tried to blame the hair salon.
And LDG, I know what you're talking about, but there wasn't a little thing in the corner that said start on Windows 3.1 or 3.11.
Just 95 in the bottom corner. That's when I first started out.
Can we just
I know just because something was similar doesn't mean it was the same thing the way he was describing it.
Yeah, Linux startup system was the same thing, but it wasn't. Okay.
Can we just all admit after XP, Windows never recovered?
I don't know that LG is old enough to remember 3.11 anyway.
I am. I mean, shit, I'm old enough to DOS. I mean,
the reason I even installed Windows 3.11 on my 286 was quite. In all honesty, the reason it was because it was cheaper. Windows 3.1 for some reason at the time was like $20 more expensive than 3.11. So that's why I installed that one, because I was like, it's basically the same. I don't care if I'm not actually running a LAN. I don't need, it's not a big issue for me.
I remember DOS as well.
Well, here's a funny thing. Here's a funny thing. I keep seeing these things. What is something Gen Z never experienced, or most millennials? I'm thinking getting your internet DV-ROM in the mail.
Yeah.
Back when you were actually installing software through CD-ROM.
Yeah. I saw a TikTok. And I don't watch TikTok, but I saw a TikTok of a young woman who was stranded in this old house, and she was uploading. She had internet, but she couldn't use her phone. Apparently, the voice network was not working, and there was a rotary dial phone in the house, and she didn't know how to use it. And she was creating a TikTok, asking people with tears in her eyes, "How can I use this? I don't understand."
I've seen that before too.
First off,
you know what? Those phones were annoying as fuck to use.
Yeah, trying to win a contest on the
Your
radio.
finger would always slip out partway
Let
through
me
the rotation.
I'll give you an example of something that happened when I was growing up. One of my first jobs was working for a law firm, and the law firm did have like the newer computer type stuff, but a lot of their stuff was still done on old typewriters. And I had a girl that I say girl. I was like 13 at the time, and this person was, a fresh out of college paralegal, just hired, and she did not understand that the typewriter needed a ink cassette put inside the machine to actually put the ink on the paper.
And at least she knew you needed to put paper in.
Oh my God!
Well, she thought that the typewriter itself created the ink.
Oh.
No, you have to have the ink. You have to have the paper and the what was that stuff called on the back?
Or taking the roller, rolling the key, rolling an ink, and rolling that rolling pad on the key before you type.
Or just imagine if she actually had to fill the well with ink.
Or do typestat or something.
What was that? What was that paper behind the page of the typewriter? The carbon copy. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, they did have that option. You could actually do carbon copies with it.
Yeah, but that was just like a double sheet, right? It had the
ribbon.
It had the carbon paper. Yeah, no, we're past the ribbon. The ribbon.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The cassette, the ribbon that had the ink on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was how you did it with. That's how most of the typewriters I had was. The way it got it on there was you typed it in and you had the carbon paper behind the paper.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, and
God,
then another
old.
paper.
Carbon copies, hard copies. Oh, I remember those things.
There's
All right, we got someone new called Sad. Sad, can you put in the chat to tell us who you are? Because I don't know who you are.
When I first
we need more than just yo. Yeah, I got to know who you are, so it's not something.
We don't let complete strangers up here unless there's someone we kind of know somehow, and you're not familiar to us.
Weirdos, yes. Strangers, no.
Yeah, we've known each other for a long time now.
That does not help.
Have we met you before?
Yeah.
Where do we know you from?
Okay.
Sad, I have an idea.
At least they're admitting they're a complete stranger.
Mike can see you backstage. Turn on your camera so Mike can see you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
No,
hold on.
Yeah.
No, that person goes on the camera. You can see the person backstage. So.
But Sad could do that.
Yes, Zach can turn on the camera, and Mike can see that
Mike
backstage.
can see at least who it is. But then we don't let you coming up here.
I'll take the risk, but if the stream ends abruptly, we'll know why.
Yeah.
All right. How are you, and what do you want to add to the conversation?
What?
I think they're just a troll.
Mike, drop them.
Let's see if I hold on.
Good hair though.
Yeah, nice hair. Happy for that hair.
And what is LDG trying to do?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was up to shenanigans. So.
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like particularly bad shenanigans, but just
We don't know what he was trying. He was trying to move the camera at one point, and who knows?
Yeah.
He might have been trying to show us a porno or something.
Look at
Yeah.
the
That looked like LDG for a second, but
that
LDG,
LDG doesn't have hair. What are you talking about? LDG doesn't have hair.
subtitle, I
No.
kill feet. Come on, that was an obvious drop.
subsequent to
no. I'm saying LDG was trying to join.
Yeah.
Oh,
There,
Hey,
and
Pickles.
he's.
Yeah, there's Pickles.
What are you doing, LDG? Okay, you don't need to solo yourself. Okay, and he's the only person that can bring himself up without me having to do it, and he's failing miserably.
Well, it's Pickles.
Hashtag Florida.
Maybe
man.
Pickles is technologically
Inept.
yes, technologically inept. That's the word I'm looking for.
Oh, LDG says he was
right.
wanting to pick him off if needed.
Yeah,
Thanks, Pickles.
no, I was able to just bring him back down.
Yeah, little tag.
I didn't want to kick him just in case.
Look,
But-
folks,
I mean, sometimes people turn out to be nice. You just never know.
Hey, folks,
Yeah.
if you're watching this, we are a very welcome and inclusive community. Just
Oh,
don't
shut up.
fuck around.
Yeah, fuck you, NB.
You can only troll once we know you.
Fuck you all.
Once we know you, you control.
Using the language of the left in here. What are you talking about?
Fuck
Screw you, Darren.
no,
I
no.
totally love inclusive language.
Oh,
Well,
I'm sorry.
it doesn't work when it comes from NB though. That's the problem. If it comes
No,
from
no, yeah, I'm
Elihu,
gonna-
yeah, I
I'm gonna
expect
use-
that.
I'm gonna
but,
use-
You know what, MB? I like your inclusivity.
Hey, I'm gonna use.
And hold
I'm
on,
gonna
hold on.
use-
If it'll make Darren feel better, should I say "Let's go NB"?
I don't even know what that is.
I do. No, I was thinking about. Remember back when you used to watch a movie on TV and they would edit out, like you'd be watching
Yeah.
an Eddie Murphy movie
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something
Oh,
like
shoot.
that, and they'd have to edit. You'd be like, they put these weird words in. And it's like you're watching Scarface. It's like, you know what? Thank you. No.
Yeah.
Don't thank me. Thank you. You go
Yeah.
thank yourself.
Yeah. Or if you watched what was it, The Big Lebowski on TV, they instead of that's what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass. They say that's what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps. And it's actually fun. It's actually funnier, I think, when he says that. Because you know what it's supposed to be. It's kind of like shut the front door. It's like
Yeah. Oh, I shared this on there. That the laugh track for Star Trek 5. I was like, oh my god, this is even better with a laugh track.
Did you like that Kermit? Did you like that Kermit
Speaking of those types
essentially?
of movies, Mrs. Vile and I actually watched the new Beverly Hills Cop movie last night,
And
sorry.
and
I haven't got a chance to
I
watch it.
actually enjoyed it.
good.
I'm shocked that Netflix did some of the stuff they did in that movie. For considering, I'm like, they actually did the budget for some of those shots, especially ones involving a certain helicopter. I'm like, that was impressive. And they brought back a lot of the characters. It was great. I liked it.
Nice.
MB, did you like that Kermit I sent you? He's muted.
Is it the one I sent you? Did I
If you
send
say
you
that name more than
Kermit
3
thing on
times, he will
Instagram?
appear. So don't do that.
No, it's a different one, Dandelion.
Oh, okay. I did send you that Kermit thing though, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny as hell.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. Man, Martin Lawrence really hasn't done a lot over the
No.
last few decades, I think.
He did
Well,
a
that's
special.
Bobby Horse thing?
He got blacklisted. That's why.
Did it stand up
no pun
special.
intended. Last
Seriously,
thing I remember him doing was that movie about where he went to prison with Eddie Murphy for life. I think it was called Life.
I never saw that movie.
It was like Charity.
Did you like the one about the kids out in Germany doing hobby horse jumping? That was freaking ridiculous. I mean, go, you be you, people, but that was pretty good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I thought that was dumb. I'm like, Tess is too dumb, I gotta laugh.
Yeah. It's a bunch of people like riding around on hobby horses, but they're going over these jumps. But they're like ridiculously high
God,
jumps.
I saw that. I saw that on TikTok or something.
Yeah,
It's
so
still
stupid,
pretty
I
fun.
liked it.
It's fun. I mean, hey,
When I saw that, the first thing that came to my mind was, when you're deep diving on certain websites and you see the pony porn,
no.
where people dress up as ponies with actual bits and bridles, and they're dragging along chariots or carriages and stuff like that. And I'm like,
We used to when we were
That's-
kids,
I don't
but
want to
we
look at
do it
your,
necessarily
I
as
don't
an
want to look at
adult.
your search history, man.
We did it when we were kids because we didn't have horses.
Yeah.
So one person would pretend to be a horse, and the other people would just pretend to not be the horse, and yeah, it was kind of fun. We used to do the same kind of thing, jumping over jumps, but we were like 8, 10.
I don't know. I used to roll down hills in tires.
Oh yeah, I did too. Right inside the big old tires.
oh God! And one time after seeing Cool Runnings, we decided to basically make a bobsled out of 2x4s and skateboard and roller skate wheels.
Oh shit.
With the steering system was just a 2x4 T, like we nailed a 2x4 into a T shape with roller skate wheels on either side of it that we tied ropes to on the ends of the T so that we could pull one and it would help turn us. And then we went to the top of a hill that was barely covered in asphalt and went down it.
And you're
And
still here to tell
In
the tale.
retrospect, it was
Wow.
it was one of the stupidest things we ever did. And because I was so young at the time, when we got to the bottom of the hill, we forgot that there was a gate there. So all the older kids jumped out at the last second. And I was just small enough in the little luge cart or whatever you want to call it to go under the gate. And of course, right outside the gate is a 4-lane street. So I am now rushing across 4 lanes of traffic. When I hit the curb, I'm not steering the damn thing. And because the thing has the clearance of a roller skate or skateboard, when I hit the curb on the other side, well, objects in motion tend to stay in motion. So when the cart stopped on the hitting the curb, I didn't. I flew a good 10 feet into a fence and then landed in ivy. Sorry, not ivy.
Oh,
What's the plant that's filled with water?
Cactus?
Like succulents?
No, it was like a succulent, but it's not a cactus. It's they look like little green fingers. Ice
Oh,
plant.
like a euphorbia of some sort, like a pencil plant.
I think it's called ice plant.
Oh, Delosperma. Okay, cool. That's actually not a bad thing to land in.
No, they're
Those are
pretty
nice
soft,
and
dude.
cushiony if they're
But-
a good dense mat.
But the fence that I hit was not maintained properly, and I was covered in splinters on my face and my hands.
Damn.
Ooh.
Well,
I need some
you were
coffee.
the fuck
And
around.
of course, as soon as all that happens, what is the first thing that the group of boys decide to do? Try it again.
Yeah.
I was figuring they were going to cheer first because you made it.
How many people in cars had heart attacks almost hitting you crossing the street?
Nobody.
I was very fortunate. There was only one car that drove past, and it drove past before I hit the street. So I was very lucky.
Yep.
Hey, this is
But-
how it works. Hey, this is how it works. We did something stupid. As long as nobody died or nothing got broken, we did it again.
Oh, when I told the story to my mom, she was livid with us. She was like, "How could you be so fucking stupid?" And this is a lady who never cussed.
What the hell were you doing telling your mom?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
you
when
have to explain the splinters.
Mama's boy.
When
Yeah,
your mom says, "How could you do something so stupid?" The proper response is genetics. Okay.
Yeah, but kids
Well-
don't think of that.
God,
Yeah, well,
Darren, I was probably. How old are you in third grade? I can't even remember. That's how old I was.
I was 9. I was about 9.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8 or 9.
8 or 9.
So yeah, that's how old I was. I wasn't thinking about genetics at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, at about 8 or 9, I was in.
You read X-Men, you'd know that word.
If I was, let's see, when I was 6 and 7, I used to ride around the hill we lived on in West Virginia, and I used to go down this little grove. Instead of being on the damn road, I would always go down this little gravel path that had literally 3 inches of space between it. And if I lost my balance, I was going down the hill. But for some reason, I didn't give a shit, and I did it anyway. Thankfully, I never fell down that goddamn hill. Oh, wait. Yeah, I did. A shit ton of times.
Oh god, but yeah, back when I was a kid, we did some stupid ass stuff. Like one of the things we did, we used to build bicycles. We just go out, find random bicycle frames, try to build, using whatever parts we could. So they'd have mismatched size wheels and stuff like that. Then we'd take them out to the San Diego River. We built these wooden jumps, and we'd go down a hill off the jump and into the San Diego River. The first kid that did it, when he landed, because we were also worried about losing the bikes in the river, so we tied duct taped empty 2-liter bottles to them, so they'd float. The problem is we didn't realize that the first kid who went off, when he hit the water, the 2 liters would prevent the bike from sinking, but that didn't stop the downward motion, so their crotch was just completely destroyed.
Oh, Jesus.
And our solution to that was, from then on, our solution to that problem was, once you're in the air, you jump off the bike.
Took you long enough to think of that.
Well, it only took one ruined crotch.
Well,
I
at
hope
least
you have the good sense to not try first.
Hey, somebody's got to be the sacrificial lamb, and Gen X knows we learn a lesson very quick. And Zillennials. So I got to include Mike.
I was going to say, yeah.
Hey, I went swimming in the Mississippi River. Next thing I know, I've got strep throat. Guess what I never did again? Swimming in that damn river.
Why would anybody in their right mind put a big toe in the Mississippi, dude? Come on.
It was it had to do with a girl. Do I need to say more?
No, you don't.
No.
Never mind.
Yeah, I can respect that.
And then I was hiking yesterday and I drank water straight out of a creek.
Well, there was a time in this continent when you could do that. I mean, you used to be able to do that. You could drink from any river or stream on this continent. Now, not so much.
Hey, man, I remember the good old days when, still to this day, I'm not too worried about a creek. Just find me a garden hose.
Yeah, they got rusty garden hose. Rustier the better. Yes.
I used to, so where I lived, when I was in Florida, my mom did not like the school system around there. So she lied about our address, and I was in another school. So I was actually going to a different district. Problem is, I had to walk my ass to the bus stop, which was, I don't know, a couple miles. Anyway, nothing new for a Gen Xer. That's just crazy times. I was going somewhere with that, and then I lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys.
Lack of alcohol in your system, that's why.
Well, I'm also discovering that the teenage culture nowadays is definitely not like it was when I was a kid, because I had to pick up my girls from school a couple weeks ago, and we weren't picking up their brother until later on. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back to work. I'm working at the mall. You guys can walk around the mall for 2 hours on your own, right? And they were like, yeah, we can. Literally within 15 minutes, they were bored with the mall. And I'm like, you
Wow.
you're teenage girls. How
Malls
can
are
you
pretty
be?
boring? I didn't like malls when I was a teenager.
Well,
But I remember when I was a teenager, you could go to the two girls could go to the mall and spend the entire freaking day doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, but that was
they're not
Go ahead.
the hub of activity. They're not the hub of activity anymore. There's very little a teenager wants to do in a mall. A lot of their arcades are disappearing, and and it's like, yeah, I can totally see why they would find a mall.
Well,
I find malls depressing now.
I mean, and it sort of depends on the teenager. I'm sure there's still some teenagers. It could just be these particular teenagers. Like I said, when I was a teenager, and this was like, when was it? The 80s. I couldn't hang out in a mall for long. Like, nope.
Just an arcade, Hot Topics.
Yeah, that's when we grew up, 80s, 90s. I mean,
Record
they
store.
used to drop up. I mean, me, Johnny, and Bobby, when I was in Florida, they get dropped off at the mall, get about $15, and it'd be like, all right, we'll be back in 5 hours, 6 hours. You'd watch a movie.
Oh, yeah.
You'd go at the food court. You'd hang out at the arcade. You'd go walk around the freaking whatever it was in the mall. But
you forgot about going to Sam Goods to hang out with your friends.
Did you guys ever have like Nickel City or Wonderland, where all the arcades were a nickel or two?
Wonderland.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, so you guys remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what my mom used. That's what my mom used as daycare for us when I was growing up. Because she would drop us off as soon as they opened up, pick us up 8 hours later, give us $5 to spend for the entire day, and we would still manage to spend 8 hours at a fucking Wonderland.
Yeah, but we get $5 and we managed to spend, and we managed
$2
to have money left over.
Yeah, I spent $2 playing video games. My friends would chip in a quarter here. Who's got the quarter? Okay, you got the next quarter. Cool. I mean, you don't pay it all yourself.
Oh, that's the other thing I miss. That's why I don't like new arcades, because I'm like, okay, this is not the experience. You're giving me, I got to go get the stupid card. I have no idea how much this game is costing me. There's no quarter slot. I mean, it was the old days when it'd be like, I got next game. You put your quarters up.
Put it right on the console.
I got next game. That was how you said, I got next game. I got my quarter out.
Yeah.
And
Your malls sound way more interesting than our malls.
Yeah,
Well,
they
if
were.
it was that
Hold
way-
on,
Canadian
hold on.
malls have always been lackluster.
It's funny you should say that. It's funny you should say that. NB, I still have this in my wallet from when I last took my son to Dave and Buster's.
Oh man, you see, that's my problem. I don't like those things. I mean, I miss, whether it was a token or whether it was a quarter. The point was, you popped it in, you played the game. If somebody wanted to play next, they came up, they popped the token in and say, I got next game. And you got your ass out of the way when you lost, and you came back later.
Right.
Oh, one of my favorite things back in those days is you put a single nickel inside like a Street Fighter 2 or a Mortal Kombat cabinet, and you could have people waiting in line to play against you, and you could play for hours just beating every person in line. And finally, when you lose, that person is treated like a freaking god, and you have to go to the back of the line, and you can still play for hours on a couple of nickels.
I remember those days. Yeah, the Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, when you had that guy, like, everybody's just waiting to see who's going to beat him.
God, Marvel versus Capcom, Mega Man and Spider-Man combination. I kicked so many people's asses. But of course, as soon as someone beat me, it was like, even I was happy that they won, because it was like, oh my God, I actually, you did so great. You beat me. Oh God, it was.
We had respect. When we lost, we had respect. And if you were a sore loser, you were called out.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody liked a sore loser. It's like, dude, show respect.
Yeah, get to the back of the line.
Yeah.
I mean, when kids go to malls now, they just spend all their time on their phones, and they can do that anywhere. So I can totally understand why they're not into malls at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, I think.
Well, what was funny is one of the reasons they literally complained to me that the mall was boring was because one of them didn't have a phone because she broke her phone, and I told the other one not to use her phone because I wanted to be able to call them in case in case I needed to leave or I needed to find them. And her battery was only at like 30-something%. So I said, don't be on your phone the entire time. If your phone drops below 30%, then you're going to get in trouble with me. So she couldn't just spend the entire time on TikTok.
So here's where I've been talking with my wife about that, Mike. So our generations, the Gen X, the Zillennials, and the early millennials, and even the latter millennials, we grew up in the society where commercial internet, let's be clear, started. So it was either dial-up, it was DSL, then eventually cable, satellite, Bluetooth came out, then eventually Wi-Fi. Gen Z grew up in this. This is all they know.
Yeah. They don't understand Saturday morning cartoons either.
No.
Because
Yeah.
little kids, cartoons are always on somewhere. Whereas it's like, there was a time when really the highest concentration was either after school, 3 to 4 usually, and then Saturday morning, and that was it. That was you got your fix, and then it was adult programming for most of the rest of the week.
Yeah, exactly, Darren. Because
I remember growing up for Saturday morning cartoons where you actually had to plan out which shows you were going to watch on what channels. And back then, the only TV I had bunny ears on there, so you had to, turn the knob just right to make sure you got the channel you wanted.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, at 6:30, I got to turn it to this so I can watch Beakman's World. Then right after Beakman's World, I got to turn it to this so I can watch X-Men. And then Spider-Man, and then I got to change it to this one so I can watch DuckTales.
Yes, for me, I grew up
we only had one channel with our bunny ears because I lived on a mountain in the middle of nowhere. So we.
Oh yeah, bunny ears with bunny ears with tinfoil on them.
We used jumper cables. Yep. We had these wrought iron chandeliers in the living room, so we used the jumper cables between the bunny ears and the chandelier.
No shit.
And then we get a couple more channels. Yep.
Huh.
Oh wow. When what Darren was saying, to piggyback on what Darren was saying, you had your Saturday morning cartoons. I mean, that was your parents' day to sleep in. You didn't bother them. You got up, you got a thing of cereal, you sat down, and from like 6:30 to 11, you were watching cartoons. And then you would have throughout the week when you were at school, you'd be excited about after school cartoons. Like I still remember this one lineup we had back when I was in school one time. It was Heathcliff, Scooby-Doo, Jason the Wheel Warriors, He-Man, She-Ra, the GoBots. That was the lineup.
The GoBots. Oh
I know. The fact that I still remember that after freaking 38 years.
Yeah. Cartoons were more special back then because you didn't have ready access to them. Sorry, go ahead.
Back then, we were in an after-school program, and the after-school program had one TV, of course, and the arguments that would ensue were, because some of the kids would bring in their Nintendos, and the people would let us hook up the Nintendos, and we're like, okay, what games do we play, or do we unhook it so we can actually watch Power Rangers? And the arguments us kids would have, like, what if it's a repeat? Are we going to sit and watch the entire repeat? Or what if so-and-so hasn't seen the episode? We're going to still watch the whole thing? Or can we just play Simon's Quest?
I'm sitting.
Oh my
here.
God, you're so much younger than me, Mike.
I'm thinking about Heathcliff. I'm thinking about Heathcliff when I was a kid, and he's talking about Power Rangers as a kid.
I was gonna say we didn't even have Nintendo till I was in university.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. You could bring your Nintendo in.
It's like there was Nintendo.
We would actually bring our Nintendos to school.
Yeah, no, I was like,
you understand. Dandelion, if it makes you feel any better, the Nintendos were 10 years old at that point, but that was still the only system a lot of us had.
Dude, we didn't even have Nintendos yet when I was in school. That's what I'm saying. Like, there was no Nintendo. So I was like in university.
The Nintendo debuted in 1986. You were in university in 1986?
Okay, so no, but
Oh, hey, I got a
84.
movie for you.
no, when I was in
Nintendo
high
was
school.
about 1800. Was founded
Oh,
about the
hey guys,
1800s.
since we're talking about Nintendo, I got a movie for you real quick. Has
I was in
anybody
grade
seen
10, I
the
think.
Tetris movie?
10 or 11.
Has anybody seen the Tetris movie? It's on Apple
No,
TV.
I haven't seen it yet.
No,
Oh, it's
I don't have Apple TV.
it is a great movie. The Tetris movie. It's
Wow.
less about the game and more about the fact that
It would
we
have
had
to
to
be.
get the rights from the Soviet Union
Oh,
to have the
yeah.
rights. Yeah,
Yeah. It's not about the game. It's about how they made the game. Yeah, that's a great story. The guy who wrote it was in Russia, and he sent the code handwritten page after page in separate letters. And then when Nintendo assembled them all and put them in a machine, they had the game. It was like secret messages across enemy lines kind of thing.
Mhm.
Because well,
Very-
you're looking
very
at the time, the Cold War was, still hot. I mean, we're talking about the 80s here, and any of us who grew up in the 80s remember doing
Yeah.
fallout drills.
Oh yeah, you couldn't get on your bike and drive down to the local video store to rent Goonies without getting nuked. It was awful.
I think that was a little bit after my time because I don't remember having nuclear drills. We had earthquake, fire, and that kind of stuff. But nowadays, like, my kids actually have active shooter drills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have those. But Columbine hadn't happened at that time. So yeah, when Columbine happened, a lot of my friends, for those who don't know, Highlander, the series, was very popular. So you had a lot of us wearing dusters and trench coats and stuff. And then after Columbine, they banned those from schools.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that type or Highlander type stuff getting banned, apparently I'm not. I tried or I was talking to my boss about because of how the heat wave that's been going on. I'm like, I'm thinking about just putting on my kilt and wearing that to work. And there was this discussion and a few emails about whether or not that should be allowed.
That seems unfortunate. Kilts are awesome. Is it like a kilt or is it a utila kilt?
It's a kilt.
Nice.
Conversation should not be needed.
So it's
This
all
is-
But
Does it meet within the uniform standards? That's all all you need. Does that meet
Well,
within dress code?
hold on. The
Okay.
reasoning behind it is because one, the uniform, or not the uniform, the dress code involves pants, and it's for safety issues.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand.
But are women allowed to wear skirts?
No.
Actually, no, they're not either.
No, there you
It
go.
has to be
Then
the pants.
not discrimination.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, if it's universal, then you're shit out of luck, buddy.
Well, they decided that it would still be okay as long as the store said it was okay. And one of my Walmarts actually has a guy who wears his kilt too. So he was like, "Oh, if you want to wear a kilt here, we're not going to say anything about it." So I'm like, "Yay!"
Yeah, we have in my hometown we have laws that I don't know, they're laws or ordinances that were established about 100 years ago to crack down on prostitution because this is a river town. We had brothels on the river and stuff like that for the river rats, sailors. And one of the things that they say is you can't be out in public dressed in the clothing of the opposite gender. But they've always made an exception for lederhosen and kilts because of the Oktoberfest parade and stuff like that. So there was always some leeway there, but it's still in place. Landlords have to deal with this all the time, where they can't have more than 6 women, live who are not related living together in one dwelling. Because that was part of that.
Legal? How's that legal?
That was it. I mean, you can't do it. It was
when I was in California, I remember, and Elihu and Mike might remember this. They were looking at passing ordinance saying Oh, you can only have so many people living in your house per square foot. You guys remember that?
Bruce
Oh.
Babbitt.
So you remember it, Elihu?
Yeah, Bruce Babbitt.
Yeah, it was like
Babbitt.
literally, it was like, wait a minute.
Not
They
Babbitt, what's
own
his
the
name?
house,
Shit,
and you're
oh.
telling them how many.
Right.
Like, wait a minute. You
Yeah.
own the house, and you're going to tell the person who owns the house how many people they can have in it.
It was the governor. It was the governor's
I don't-
way of quote unquote
Hold on.
curbing illegal immigrants.
Well, here's the thing.
Well,
how are they
hold
going
on.
to enforce it? How they
I
gonna
don't
enforce it?
remember that. I don't remember that specific thing, but I do remember being in early grade school where a friend of mine was he wanted to have his birthday party at their apartment, and he was literally the apartment complex manager said you're not allowed to have that many people inside the house, and we're talking of like 7 people.
Yeah.
We're not talking like a huge party. But yeah, they were like, no, you're not allowed to have more than 6 people inside the entire house. So we literally, his dad was like, well, in that case, I'll go away and I'll work that day, and it'll just be the mom and 6 kids, so we wouldn't be over 7.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it was like the craziest thing I had heard in Cal. I was like, what the hell? Because I was living across the street from a Mongolian family who I believe had 6, 7 people living in their house. Good people. They kept their house clean, their yard clean, no complaints, nothing. And I'm like, you're going to go tell them they can't have their family there when they're not doing anything wrong? Fuck you.
Well, they'd probably have a waiver for a situation like that today. I don't know about back then, but today
This was during
the bad press would be enough to prevent any municipality from enforcing a rule on a minority family like that right now.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, I would say any family, because even right now, I know of a certain family that they have 7 people living in a 1-bedroom place, and it's a white family.
Yeah.
Okay. We shouldn't.
So, and it's because they can't afford anything better right now.
Yeah, and then that's unfortunate. And I mean, this is one of the things we've kind of gone on a little bit of a different way here, because back when I was growing up, there was fear if you had 2 kids of the opposite gender, a certain age, you had to have you had to have separate rooms for them. You weren't allowed to have them in the same room. Otherwise, CPS could come involved.
Yeah, I do remember stuff like that. Like when my sister would come to visit, and at the time we had my stepbrothers, my brother, and my half sister coming, and all 4 boys had to cram into a single room.
Way to criminalize property.
Well, no, it's one thing. It's one thing, but there were rules that I had to learn in California after I had my son, because I already had my daughter, that we had to make sure that we had to keep them separated because of their age differences. It's like once he reached a certain age, California law said he has to be separate from his sister because his sister's this age and he's this age. And it's inappropriate for them to be in the same room.
Well, of course, you don't want to have one of your kids accidentally see one of the other kids naked if they're not the same gender.
Yeah, I understand.
Why? That seems really weird.
I was being sarcastic, Dandelion. I think it's weird too.
That's a weird thing, man.
It depends on how old they are.
I grew up with British parents. We all saw each other naked all the time. It was not a big deal. See, if you raise people to think that nakedness is not like a huge deal, they won't think nakedness is a huge deal.
Well, here in the States, nakedness is considered a bad thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, in this country, it's considered very inappropriate. In fact,
which is stupid sometimes.
We've actually had to have laws put in place in our own country because it's like, oh, this is child pornography. No, this is a picture of my baby.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I wouldn't be posting pictures of small girls on like Instagram or anything, but
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
That's where the people go to get there.
Grandparents who don't understand have been known to do
baby
that.
in the
Oh,
bathtub,
yeah.
but taking a picture of your wife or somebody bathing your baby, and they would call that child porn.
Well, I mean, I would think if it's your own private photos that you maybe only like, send to family, that shouldn't be a problem. But if you're posting that online anywhere where random people could see it, then it does cross
Like,
the line.
I'll give you an example of something, Dandelion. One of my favorite pictures I have of Caddy when she was a baby was she was like 6 months old, and I was giving her a bath in the sink.
Mhm.
And at one point, she was sitting in the corner. She had her arms up on either side, and she looked like, someone really enjoying the hot tub. Like,
Mhm.
so I took a picture of it and I posted it to Facebook.
Mm.
My mother's family screamed bloody murder over that picture because they said it was child porn.
Yeah, that's very
And I'm like,
unfortunate.
she's
Yeah, if you don't
6
know the
months old.
context- Yeah, if you don't know the context, there are perverts out there who would take that photo and use it.
Yeah, and I think that's those sickos. Well, I can tell you what I think of where they should go and what we should do to them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I watched that.
Yeah, but it's not just that, MB. It's the people who think that stuff is wrong, even if it's not.
No, but
Because
what I'm
they're
saying,
It's not intrinsically
They're
wrong.
worried about the
It's the matter of who has access to that imagery that's the problem.
It's a
Well,
matter of context. Like,
Lindsay,
oh, look, my cute kid.
Lindsay,
Hey, that's a cute kid picture. And yeah, it's a matter of context.
Yeah.
yeah, it is a matter of context. Unfortunately, we do have sick fucking people out there.
Mm-hmm.
No, I know firsthand. Turned out I found out a friend of mine when I was a kid. Friend of mine after that I'd known for 7 years, who me had been over at his house for years, knew his entire family. I still talk to his family. Found out he was I don't want to use the R word, but found out he was doing that to his sister.
Hmm.
So the I word.
Consensually or non-consensually?
I never thought to ask the question because I was too shocked.
Okay.
And I
Well,
don't think I
even
wanted
if
to
it's
know.
consensual, it's still
Yeah,
not
yeah.
something he's supposed to be doing. I mean,
Well, no,
it's,
obviously not. But then neither of them should
I
do.
don't think it was because
Right.
okay, well, here's the difference.
Was there
We
an
were
age
17.
difference? What was the age difference?
We were 17, he was 13. She was 13.
Okay, yeah, that's just wrong anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But the thing was, it had been going on for a long time, and it was shocking to me, my buddy TJ, the cousin, the parents, because we were over there. I was over there almost every weekend. I mean, for years. And I mean, I got into fights for this guy. I was willing to, go to battle for him. There was about 5 or 6 of us. We were just close as could be. And then out of the blue, you find out a guy you knew after 7 years is a fucking monster.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, because I talked about this with some people, and it's like, we didn't have red flags back then. We didn't have signs back then.
Yeah.
We didn't see anything.
Well, and part of the issue, NB, is even today, there are people that don't want those red flags to be taught to kids because they're worried about what that implies.
Right.
No, I mean, no, but she was just, it was a kid.
Yeah. Not
I
cool.
mean, I knew the girl for 7 years, and she was 13 years old at that time. So take that into account there, how long I'd known her and how I felt about this family, and to find out your friend is, and you're like,
Yeah,
how did
this
we
used
all
to
miss
be a
it?
this used to be a fun conversation.
No, sorry. I know, I went dark.
How about that new Spider-Man movie?
Yeah,
A new Spider-Man movie.
Is there a new Spider-Man movie?
Yeah, Tom Holland's in talks to film another one.
Oh, cool.
He actually is. So
Nice.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So I saw Inside Out made $1 billion.
I have not seen part 2 yet.
I haven't seen part 1 either.
Yeah,
Well,
I haven't. I saw the
fine with
first
that.
one. I haven't seen the second one.
Yeah,
Disney
I don't
needed
have
to-
any of my nieces
Yeah,
here anymore, so I've kind of not been seeing as many kids movies. It's kind of unfortunate because you end up feeling like a bit of a creeper going to the kids movies by yourself.
Oh, Dandelion.
Just slightly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dandelion, I've got something. So my daughter and her girlfriend, they love horror movies, right? They absolutely love horror movies. So we
Okay.
watch a lot of horror stuff together. They
Uh-huh.
wanted to go see Black Balloon. I was originally going to take them. And then I told my wife, I was like, honey, this is an R-rated movie. I have to sit in there with them. I'm like, it's going to be a little creepy if I go in with 2 girls.
Right.
I guess there's levels on all of it.
I
I mean,
remember
I
Kid
suppose being
Black
a woman,
when I
can
was a kid
tell
growing up,
that
wanting to go see a Star Trek or Star Wars movie by myself. Because a lot of my friends weren't the type of nerd I was. So it was like, yeah, I'm going to go see the movie by myself. Whoa, well, that sounds really pathetic to go see a movie by yourself. It's like, no, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had a buddy I used to go and see kids movies with because he liked kids movies too. So we would always go and see all the kids movies together because, if you're going with someone, it doesn't seem as weird. If you're going to like a kids movie all by yourself, like as long as you've got somebody to go with, it feels fine. But it's hard to go on your own. And also they can be really annoying because there's a lot of kids in those movies.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Dandelion, a friend of mine said he has the perfect excuse for that because he likes to go see a lot of those movies, and a lot of his friends doesn't want to go.
Okay.
So what he does is he brings a notepad and pen and a fake press pass.
Oh, there you go.
As if
And now
they still
everyone
use
thinks that
notepads and pens. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hey,
yeah,
you guys
and
have seen.
that's the funny thing is no one ever questions it when he brings a legal pad and a pen, and he wears a little fake like a Comic-Con thing he got from Comic-Con. He just puts a piece of paper in there that says press, and no one complains.
So related to what NB was talking about, and about going to places, like see kids' movies by yourself and stuff. Have you ever seen those AmeriQuest ads where somebody gets caught in an embarrassing situation? For example, the one I'm thinking of is the dad is taking his teenage daughter and her 2 friends in the back seat to the concert, and they get out of the car and they're dressed like, they're dressed kind of provocatively for little girls, and then he hands her some cash, and a squad car comes up and catches him in the act of handing his daughter the cash, and it looks like he's soliciting a prostitute. Underage prostitute, and he and then you can hear him say to the cop, "It's okay, I'm her daddy."
No, I do remember that ad quite well.
All right,
I do remember that ad quite well. So I was in a situation where my daughter and I got into an argument in the van, and I was visiting her in Illinois. I had Indiana plates, and she was living with me. And when my daughter gets heated, I get heated. It's just how we are. And apparently somebody saw us getting heated and flagged down a cop, and the cop came over. And of course, I got detained and everything. The reason I got detained, actually, though, wasn't because of it was actually because of the cop's safety, because I had to tell him I had an out-of-state concealed carry and I was armed. And he informed me, hey, I'm only detaining you because you were armed. And I'm like, I totally understand. But, it's unfortunately those misunderstandings like that. But I was actually totally okay with the cop pulling us over. I'm like, look, man, you didn't know us from Adam. Somebody called with a concern. I'm actually glad somebody actually took the time to give a shit.
Right? Yeah.
I'll tell you guys a story. I may have told this story before, but when Caddy was younger and I was picking up from school, her teacher brings me off to the side and says, Caddy's dad, I need you to understand your daughter is getting older. Some of the boys are noticing certain things growing about her. You need to take her out and buy her some bras. So I was like, okay, I had the day off that day. So when I went to pick up my daughter, I was wearing a hoodie, nothing underneath the hoodie, and basketball shorts.
Oh, bra shopping.
And I took her to Walmart to buy training bras. But of course, she's still young enough that she doesn't find that fun, so she decides to hide. And while she's hiding, I'm going through the little girl's bras, trying to find something I think will fit her.
Oh yeah, that's not creepy at all.
God.
And remember, I look like this: bald head, goatee.
Hoodie and shorts.
So I'm thumbing through the little girl's bras, and this guy puts his hand on my shoulder, turns me around, and it's Walmart security. And he goes, "Excuse me, what's going on here, sir?" And of course, the look on his face is, "What is this pedophile doing?" And when I look at him, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm trying to buy bras for my daughter. She ran away. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. The immediate look on his face went from, I'm going to have to kill this guy to, oh my God, he needs help. He got not one, not two, but 3 female associates to then help me find my daughter and find
easier for maybe
bras for her.
to just approach you and ask if you needed some assistance. Like, always err on the side of,
When I was a kid, my grandmother took me and my cousin Ayla, who's like my sister, and we were out at Kmart.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I got a Geloja.
Okay. So we're out at Kmart, right? And she, I guess, is early developing. I mean, I was,
All right.
fuck, I don't remember the age.
I'm bowing out.
Yeah, I don't remember. her age.
Hi, Darren.
I just remember, we were going to this place and, we were looking for clothes, and my grandma was buying bras for my cousin. And of course, I'm a kid. I'm thinking, okay, that's weird. But the thing was, my cousin grabs it as soon as my grandmother puts it in the cart and goes, "I'm getting a bra." And I darted like a motherfucker under the first fucking set of clothes I could find.
Good
I'm like, what the? I'm a kid, for God's sakes.
I was so shy when I was a kid. I was always mortified when I had to do anything like that at the stores.
I never had the opportunity to go bra shopping.
Well, you're pretty skinny, so you would never have to worry about moves.
No.
No, but I thought that was it. I've always remembered that day in that Kmart. This is like, my grandma's laughing her ass off, and I dart like a motherfucker. I'm like, I want to go into hiding. I don't want to be associated with anybody. I just want this over with, because I'm so embarrassed as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I had an experience in a Kmart with my grandma. I have a lot of grandma stories, and I had my own money, but I had a lot of change, and so I was buying this Batman figure, Michael Keaton Batman. So I'll give you a timeline.
89.
Yeah, and so I had this change here, and this cashier had no clue that the lady behind me was my grandmother. And she literally told me, "Go over to the counter and count that. I don't have time for this." Oh, my grandmother lit her up like the 4th of fucking July. I've never seen somebody count change so fast. She literally, when my grandmother would get pissed, I mean, it was like a firecracker.
Like, you got a little kid here with a lot of change, you want to buy something, want to buy a toy, let him.
It went more something like this. "No, it's your job. You will count that money. You will see if he has the correct change, and you will do the service. Do I make myself clear, lady?" Boy, did she kill like mother. And then she told me the man on the woman who was behind us tapped her on the shoulder and was like, "Good job." That was back when. That was back in the day when it was like you didn't put up with the bullshit.
Well, I have a feeling that people still think that they're not putting up with bullshit, but they're just Karens.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, come on, man. These Karens are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not a Karen.
Mentality.
His grandmother was not a Karen. Okay, his grandmother was a human.
No, the serving person was the Karen in this story.
Yeah, the Karen person is they think they are in the right when they are not in the right. That is the Karen. The grandmother was not a Karen.
I do.
Oh, and speaking of not knowing things nowadays, Mrs. Vile last night, she because I had to work yesterday, she actually took the trolley up to see me in the bus. And because of the way the change machines on those things work, she ended up with some dollar coins. You know, the ones, the newer ones that have the president on, or all the various presidents on them.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were still doing the Native American lady.
Those are
Oh no, that was only for like 2 years.
You don't have
since,
you don't regularly have dollar coins.
No,
Or
we
$2
No,
coins?
they're not a common thing.
No.
In fact, most of our registers don't even have space for them in the registers.
we
Because
don't.
So-
we don't have dollar or $2 bills at all. Oh, you never had $2 bills. You only have $1 bill.
$2 bills are more like a collector's
Yeah.
item.
Okay,
we
yeah,
do,
so
we
they
do
were
have,
regular
we do have
circulation.
$2 bills, but they're released like every 4 or 7 years or something like that.
They're still in
We went with,
circulation. You can get them in the bank if you have.
They're still in circulation.
Yeah.
They're legal tender, but most people just keep them for reasons.
Right. Well, we have
Yeah.
dollar coins and $2 coins are our regular currency. Like
Loony.
coins.
Yeah, the loony and the toonie. I know.
Yeah, Looney, yeah.
But so last night after I drop her off, I stop at one of my local 7-Elevens to get a soda on my way home. And because she left the coins with me, I was going to pay for it with 2 $1 coins and some leftover change. And the guy behind the counter is a guy, I want to say maybe 40, 50 years old. Yeah, he said they weren't real money at first.
What?
And he was like, we haven't had any dollar coins since the Susan B. Anthony. These that can't be real. They look like some something you get in the back of a magazine because they're gold coins with various presidents on there. And I'm like, no, these are real coins, dollar coins. It's like, I've never seen those before. And I'm like, but that doesn't mean there's not real. I mean, it says United States on it right here.
I've never
Yeah,
seen
I'm
a
trying to
$1
show
bill, but I know they're real.
I've never had a problem with getting a dollar coin. And, this is the same kind of guy who would get a 50-cent piece and say it was Martin Sheen on the back. And if you know that reference, you know it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
so basically, I did have to pay with my card because he just wouldn't accept it. But yeah, let me show you. Like this.
Full screen
This specific one, this is one of the ones I was trying to spend last night. It has Thomas Jefferson on the front, Statue of Liberty on the back with $1, and it says, along the edge, so you could tell, it's a $1 coin.
Yeah,
but he was like, no, that's not a real coin. He said the only dollar coins he's ever heard of were the Susan B. Anthony's.
Oh, he's a fucking moron.
Idiot.
And I'm like, well, I didn't have any Sacagaweas, but I'm like, would you have accepted that one? Because I wonder if he even knew that was a one, and that's been around for almost 25 years.
Is that the one I was thinking of, the Sacagawea? No, I was thinking,
yeah.
Is that the one I was thinking of?
Because you were thinking of the Sacagawea.
Yeah, wasn't that the one that was like when our dollar coins went gold? I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Of the coin is why it's gold plated. It's gold plated.
It's not even gold plated. It's I think it's brass plated.
It's gold colored.
Yeah, that's
it's gold colored. But yeah, he literally made me pay with a frickin' card because I didn't have any other cash on me.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is the same guy who'd see a 50-cent piece and say, "Oh, that's Martin Sheen."
Well, it's funny you should say that. I actually have. Hold on. I keep this one in my wallet because it's a spare.
Oh, you got a 50 cent? Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
There's
but-
Martin Sheen.
This is actually a silver one. It's all silver.
Yeah, I've had a few of
And
those.
I keep this. Because this is one of the extra ones I have because it's 1967. I've got multiples of this one. So when I got this one, I keep this one in my wallet. And the funniest part is, when my wallet's full, I don't know if you can tell right now. It kind of looks like I have a condom in my wallet, even though it's a 50-cent piece.
Well, I guess you're prepared either way.
Yeah, one way or another, you're getting a condom. Hey, I'm
Well, I wouldn't use that on a condom because it's worth more in silver than it is face value.
Well, look at this. I have a 1980 quarter worth $5, and I have a 1966 quarter no mint mark worth about $35. Oops, sorry.
And then you drop it and scratch it and lower the value. Good job.
Always check your coins.
Hey, I'm trying to figure something out here. When are men and women's bathrooms going to start having the condom and tampon dispensaries have the ATM option?
I miss those. They had them at the
Say that
ballpark.
again?
Right now, I don't have any loonies.
They had them at the ballpark. They had tampons and condoms in the men's and women's restrooms.
No. I mean, using the ATM like you just swipe your card.
Oh, I don't know.
I've never seen those before.
No, I just see the coin
That's
ones.
my point. You've never seen them before. I'm waiting for that.
Go to Japan. They have a vending machine for everything.
Oh,
The
God.
closest I've seen. You got a toonie?
What is that?
See the little
Okay.
polar bear in the middle there?
That's polar bear.
Yeah.
Well, I wish American coins would do the bimetal thing. We don't have any of those.
I don't have any loonies though, just a toonies.
What's your guys' national animal?
Because even Mexico does the
Beaver.
bimetals, you know?
Or what do they call those things? The cobra chickens. No, kidding.
No,
Not the cobra chickens. And then we got like cool $50 bills. See how pretty they are? What else do I have?
Yeah, colorful and holograms. I like that.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
20.
And it's see-through. Yeah.
Oh, wow. They've
I don't
changed
like any
the
tens.
last time I saw Canadian.
I got a fiver though. $5.
foot long.
You have
I'll be
$100.
honest with you.
Oh,
Dandelion, I don't like some of the newer Canadian or Mexican money because the paper isn't paper. It's basically plastic.
Yeah, it is plastic. You can't even fold it
And-
properly. And there's $100.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
bill.
I do dollar origami all the freaking time. You know how hard it is to fold one of those?
Yeah,
into,
they're super
you know, the
hard.
Starship
And then once
Enterprise
you
or something?
fold it, you can't unfold it. Like this guy, he's never unfolding. But you know why? They last a lot longer and they're a lot harder to counterfeit.
And you cannot
Like-
spot them.
I know, but I want to be able to fold my money into the Starship Enterprise or the Millennium Falcon or an X-Wing, like the one video I have.
Okay, well, sorry. As far
Yeah,
as
Dandelion.
it's just more
It's
affordable
really-
this way because we don't have to replace those bills as often.
Hey,
Right?
Dandelion, question for you.
Sure.
Other than the Queen, who's all on your bills?
Those are various previous prime ministers. I believe we have one. Some of them they started swapping out. Like they have a woman on. I think it's some of the $5 bills. Some of the newer ones. That she was a scientist of some sort. Maybe it's on the tens. I don't have any tens. But
There
All right,
was
what was the
and then on the back,
Canadian
there's, like,
bill?
cool stuff,
Hold
like
on.
here on the fives, we've got like some space people doing a spacewalk with the space arm. There, hang on.
yeah,
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's because Canada donated the robotic arm to the ISS.
Yeah, and what have we got on the back of the 20?
Even the robotic arm that was on the space shuttle was built in Canada.
Yeah, I can't even read this one. It's got tiny letters. I think it's some sort of war memorial on the back of the 20, or possibly a Holocaust memorial. What's on the back of the 50?
Well, Dandelion, what's the bill that was that the Canadian government had to release a statement on saying stop defacing and turning the person into Spock?
King
that's
Charles.
5.
Yeah, the 5. They can't
That
spot
was
them.
a 5. It was actually one of those things where if you just folded it funny, you could make him
I'm gonna
You can smile or frown depending on how you folded it. I don't know if you can still do it, but yeah, I
I'm
can't do
actually
it. With the paper ones, you could fold them funny, and then you could make if you tilted it, he would be like.
Hey,
It's really
Dandelion, I'm gonna say this. One thing I do like, I find your currency a little strange at times, but one thing I will say is you can easily tell what bill you have by the color.
Yes, exactly. You don't accidentally pay with the wrong bill.
We gotta pull all the bills out of the goddamn wallet to figure out what we got in our wallet.
Yeah, that's a 10 or a 20. Oh shit, yeah, it's a 1. Okay. Oh, 1 or a 10. Yeah, that's a 10. Yeah, okay. Fuck.
Yeah,
It's all green.
Yeah.
Well, no, the $10 bill is now more of an orange color. The $100 bill is now more of a blue.
Oh yeah, like
So-
all of us have $100 bills on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's like my
I'm sorry?
The only reason I have that $100 bill is because somebody I belong to this like cider club, and I share the membership with one of my coworkers because I can't drink that much cider anymore. Like I used to be able to go through that many ciders, but I don't drink that much anymore. So he takes half of it and I take half of it, and he always gives me $100 bills for his half of it. So.
Sorry, I have to do this, Dandelion. I am a father. Cider, I barely know her.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't even think of the last time I had a 50 or 100. In fact, I always got nervous when I had that big of a bill.
I carry a certain amount of cash because here we're in an earthquake zone, and you're always recommended to carry like a certain amount of cash just so that you have emergency cash.
Okay, Dandelion, I'm a prepper. I've got cash in my safe. I've got cash in my vehicle, and yeah, I have cash on hand. I'm just saying I never carry more than $20 bill increments. I mean,
Dandelion. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Eli.
I was gonna say I'm in a high earthquake zone as well, and cash is really optional because a lot of merchants have the square on their phone with when they swipe the cards or enter the card number on the phone. And
Well, you're assuming cell service is going to continue working in an emergency.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're going to have. At the end of the day, you would have. We'd initially go back to somewhat of a barter system, which is basically what we do now with cash. It's still a barter system,
but it's in the immediate aftermath that they recommend because I don't know what your geography exactly is like there, Elihu, but here in the Lower Mainland, we can get trapped here. Like we can't get out. Like when we had that atmospheric river a couple of years ago, I could not have left the region other than by airplane. There was every single road got washed out, like destroyed to the point where it took them months or years. One of them only just got repaired this year. And this was like 2 years ago that it happened, right? Like they got washed out badly and there was no way in or out of the region. So you had the cash because in the immediate aftermath of an emergency, you need to be able to continue functioning.
Yeah, if you want to go to San Francisco after a major quake or something, you either go south or wait for the boats. I mean, there's you got Mission that goes all the way down.
You got to understand, Elihu. You have to understand if you're going to decide to shelter in place or shelter out of place. Dandelion, do you have a shelter in place system? Do you have a 72-hour kit and a 3-month kit?
Well, I could manage for probably 72 hours, like a week or so.
No, I mean the initial thing, and I've been doing this a long time, and no, I'm not zombie apocalypse. I'm a realist. I plan for disasters that, like, I'm not planning for a hurricane because I live in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get that. But
yeah, if a hurricane reaches you in Indiana, you've got bigger problems.
Well, tornado.
That's a different kind of problems.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's not my fault.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's fine. Like, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to. You prepare for the dangers that you would anticipate. Like here, like things like massive rainstorms, earthquakes.
Exactly.
That's what we would prepare.
So the best thing to do for so you don't have pets, I don't think, right?
I'm sorry?
You don't have pets, do you?
Pets? No, I don't have any pets.
Okay, so it's just you. So a good thing to be is just ensure you have at least a couple of cases of water and a 72-hour kit. And then if you want to do a minimum, just get a 3-month kit. And that should be all you need. That's what my wife and I have. And I mean, they're not that expensive. They last 10 years, but you need the water for it. And
we're actually on well water where I am, and I'm not overly worried about having the water because I have a Stoya Mini, which is an awesome $20 water filter.
Nice.
No, but what I'm saying is you want the water, you want the bottled water for drinking purposes and maybe for cooking purposes. Now, if your well water is good, and I know you live in Canada, so you got clean water.
Yeah, our water's good here. Good water.
But what you want to do is you want to have that, but you'd also use your well water for washing.
NB, FEMA has drastically changed its policy after 2005. So the federal government is actually recommending a 3-day survival kit minimum.
Yeah, definitely minimum. 3-day survival kit minimum.
Yeah, it used to be 24 hours, but after Katrina hit, they changed the policy big time because 90% of the water they quote unquote dropped got destroyed upon impact.
That's because Bush fucked up with FEMA.
I know. I remember flipping him off when he flew over the city in the helicopter. I remember flipping him off, man.
Did you feel better?
Yes, I did.
Oh, God.
Even
then, some of the people trying to bring supplies in for certain disasters really don't even realize what they're bringing in isn't going to be important. I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine went to, was it Haiti? What was the one that had the big hurricane and then an earthquake and stuff like that? Was that Haiti?
Haiti.
Or was it Puerto Rico?
Okay.
No, Puerto Rico just had a hurricane.
They were there because they were part of Doctors Without Borders. And literally, like, some of the stuff they were requesting primarily was, generators and gasoline so they could run the generators and lights, because that's what they really needed to help people when it came to medical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they had plenty of medical supplies, but in the dark, you can't really help somebody.
Yeah.
There was they had the only way to get anything in for this one area was a ramshackle airport that they had created, just a dirt airport. And they had 2 planes that were arriving at the same time, both of which were not, scheduled to be landing.
Mm.
But because of a storm, they could only let one of them land. And one of the aircraft said, "Hey, we have, 60 tons." I'm pulling numbers out of my ass, so forgive me on that, okay? We have 60 tons of supplies. The other one had 50 tons of supplies. So they went ahead and let the one that had more supplies land. Well, except the one that landed was a plane sent by the Mormon Church.
Oh,
and half of it contained Bibles and Books of Mormon.
Oh, good, helpful.
The plane they turned around had baby formula and diapers.
Yeah, I think you need to be.
They were like, because of that. They estimated that at least 26 babies died because they let the wrong plane land.
Yeah,
and it's like, the Mormon Church was trying to say they were doing such a great thing sending these supplies, but when you're, facing, food shortages and, you need generators and gasoline, you can't really burn the Books of Mormon because they even were treated with chemicals that prevented you from burning them because when you burn them, they release toxic chemicals.
Man. Oh, that's just bad.
Really find that funny, Mike. I'm sorry.
Sorry, what?
I can't find that funny.
Well, I'm finding it funny in retrospect, but at the time, no, it was not funny at all.
No, that's
They were
pretty.
livid.
Well, let's talk about the Roman Church or the Catholic Church, and I'm Catholic.
All right, folks, it's going to be hot here today, so I'm going to head out and take my daily walk.
It's already 31 degrees. Sorry, it's already 19 degrees.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're probably getting up to about 30 or 31 today. It's currently 19. Oh no, that was a few days ago. What are we at right now? We're already at 23.
Hey, Death Valley is supposed to get up to 51.4 today.
Oh man, we're supposed to get up to 32 with a 38-degree humidity factor, which is rare. We don't usually get a lot of humidity. Anyway,
well,
Man,
I guess you're on the heathen scale because I'm looking at it right now and it says 70 degrees.
Yeah, but we're talking about Canadian centigrade.
Yeah, centigrade.
Hang on.
Yeah, as I said, you're on the heathen scale.
Yeah.
I can vote for Dandelion, okay?
So
Actually,
74 right now,
I'd
going
rather
up
be in the
to.
Celsius than I'm with Dandelion. I'd rather be in the Celsius than Fahrenheit.
It makes so much more sense.
I know. It's 61 going to be 68.
It's 70 degrees Fahrenheit or F for freedom units.
It's 17 degrees C for correctness.
You do know that Canada rates higher on the freedom scale than the US does, right?
I'm making a joke. I'm making a joke.
I just thought I'd let you all know.
Yeah, the refs let the hockey players fight. Here we break them up.
Yeah, you
Probably because we're less bothered about naked people here.
You also rank in a lot of war crimes.
Well, I think every first world nation probably has plenty of war crimes to be.
No, the reason about that, NB, is because as far as Canadians are concerned, if it comes to war, it's fuck around and find out.
And they always say sorry afterwards, so they're forgiven.
And they're so polite about it.
And she has no comeback, see? She's polite.
Listen, we decimated your people, but we're really sorry about it. And here's a couple bucks.
And here's some maple syrup.
Yeah.
Actually, I already had maple syrup today. Thank you very much.
Oh, here's some maple syrup and Canadian bacon.
I don't want no ham. Ham slices is not bacon. I'm sorry.
That's okay. There's a place here that makes great bacon, like regular strip bacon, like side bacon or whatever it is.
American bacon.
It's called bacon.
It's just bacon.
It's just called bacon.
That's just bacon.
It's
Where you are at is pemmican, or is it? Am I pronouncing that correctly? Still
Pemmican?
popular?
Pemmican?
Pemmican. There you
I need to eat pemmicans.
Yuck. Yeah. No, I'm not losing my appetite. Okay, come on.
If you guys have a chance, look up a guy by the name of Max Miller on YouTube. He has a channel called Tasting History, and his he makes pemmican on one of them, and it's just
why?
Because the channel is about tasting history.
Okay.
He makes a lot of old dishes.
Why would he willingly eat that?
I watched a video where a guy tried the first beer, which beer was originally created in Egypt.
Yeah, it's a water source because water was bad. It was also a form of currency.
It was also very thick at the time. It was almost like a smoothie.
Yeah.
Because no known human pathogens can survive in beer.
Well,
So it makes
Healthier
beer
than
safer
water.
to drink
Healthier than
water.
water.
Well, another historical fact is I don't think people realize is urine was taxed in
Rome.
Rome, yeah, because it was used as a disinfectant.
Yeah, nobody pissed on the streets. People got paid to piss in pots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's Roman history.
Well,
for
and
you.
they also used it for cleaning things, like cleaning clothes, and in the, I believe, the linen making process, you can use it to expedite the threshing of linen.
Yeah, there was signs
That's
around
what
the
I
shop
said.
that basically said, yeah, It was a symbol. Basically, it's like, yeah, urine here for pay. It's like certain shops had that. It's like, okay, you got to pee. Okay, I need the pot. The darker the urine, the more money
just
you got.
imagine there was a point in history where the smell of a porta potty was clean.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it really does depend on what people have been eating. So if their diets are healthier, then poop is probably somewhat less offensive.
And the darker you pee, the more money you got.
One of the things that was a problem for the elitists and the royal families is the reason why they were unhealthier than the peasants was in some cases because of the dishes they used, because they were slowly giving themselves lead poisoning.
Yeah. Rich people really do a weird shit.
Well, they didn't know eating off those copper plates was going to give them lead poisoning. I mean, remember,
they didn't know about lead poisoning, obviously.
Yeah, but we're talking about the same people.
Well, hold on. No, let me explain for one thing. It wasn't the copper plates that was doing it. It was literally lead goblets and lead plates. And especially when something acidic was put on it, it was basically creating lead acid.
Okay. Yeah,
and you put an acid like wine into a lead glass, it was basically making it more toxic. If you put water in a lead cup, it was perfectly fine.
And that was the problem with a lot of these people. They were lead poisoning themselves, and they had no idea they were hurting themselves. But it's the same thing with, royalty keeping the blood pure when they were ultimately diluting their blood with their, kind of incest.
Hello, Potato Raven.
Hey, we're talking about the idiot royal family history. Potato. Good timing. Good timing.
Yeah, good timing, Potato. Well, what was it? Who sent me this that said an entire family was married off to them and they destroyed an entire royal family? I forgot who sent me that.
I don't know. But since Potato Raven is here, or Revan is here, I was recently reading a story about how in France, I don't think it was France, but it was another, I think it was Prussia, where the royal family was trying to get the common people to adopt the potato as a secondary grain source for the people, because having one grain is good, having two grains is better. But the stigma around
is better than one.
Yeah, but the stigma around the potato was preventing a lot of the people from adopting it, because they looked at it as a filthy, thing, because it grew in the ground and it looks all misshapen. So what they decided to do was they planted an entire garden full of potatoes and said it was just for the royal family. And he put guards in front of around the garden, and he told them specifically to do a very bad job in protecting the potato garden, so that when people were like, oh, if these are good enough for the royal family, they're good enough to steal. So people were stealing the potatoes and then raising illegal potato crops because they wanted to have what the royals were having, and that's how the potato got adopted in that region. Is he basically used reverse psychology on them?
Well, that's how a lot of marketing works. You create a problem that doesn't exist that your product has the solution for.
Well, the problem that existed, they were worried about the royals in that case were worried that single blight or something that would wipe out the wheat crops would leave the people starving. That's why he wanted a second grain.
I don't think
I'm classifying potato as a grain, but it's not. You know what I mean? Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Mike, I don't know if you want to talk about blights and potatoes.
As I say, as it turned out, both wheat and potatoes are prone to various blights.
Yeah, remember the Great Potato Famine?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's at the time of this particular thing, he was worried about that kind of stuff.
Potato blight is actually still quite common. Tomatoes get it often here.
Actually, Revan told me. Hold on
Just in case, Revan, say something in the private chat, so we know that it's you.
It probably really is him because he's in the.
Revan's the one who told me. Revan's the one who told me.
Yeah, it sounds like him.
Revan's the one who told me that Ireland has not recovered from that potato blight since.
Yep.
And I actually, I found out something in history where one of the reasons why you would see those mail order Russian brides is because the Russians.
Of course, as I'm trying to bring him up, I hit the wrong button and I kick myself out.
The other cool thing about potato blight is the alternate host for potato blight is a housefly. If you ever see a housefly like on the ground, like flying, like sitting in, like kind of spinning in circles, or like you see one stuck to a window, like by its head, that's got potato blight.
I've seen a housefly, but I've never seen an elephant fly.
In the winter here, routinely you might get a bag or two of potatoes, and like you'll just pull it out, and when the potatoes is rotten to the corner, you're like, fuck, it's got the blight. So then pick up another one. Any stuff that comes from the province of Connacht, which is the northwest of the Republic, kind of touching the north of Ireland, if you get me.
Yep.
That whole side, that is basically barren. That whole area is only fit for sheep.
Why do they still grow?
What? Say that again?
Why do they still grow up there then?
They don't try and grow them there anymore.
Oh, I thought you said there's so.
Well, the fungus gets into the soil, right? And that was part of the problem when they were blighty potatoes. Good morning, Mrs. Vile.
Hola, Mrs. Cardenas.
That was part of the problem was they would throw away the old gross potatoes into the compost heap, and then it would just spread the fungus around. And that, oddly enough, it's a similar problem in wheat is wheat rust, which is another fungus. And it has a couple of alternate hosts as well, which is really unfortunate.
The reason why the potato blight in Ireland was so bad was because of the penal laws at the time meant that the only food that the Irish were allowed to eat underneath the thumb of the British monarchy was potatoes.
Yeah.
And
because everything else had to be exported out.
Yes.
Yeah. Monocrops are never a good idea.
No. A Native American group, I forget their name, they sent 2,000 pounds raised. They sent 500 pounds. Then the Ottomans tried to send 2,000 pounds, but the British government stopped them because they had only sent 1,000 pounds and wouldn't let anyone from the outside help Ireland, which resulted in we're still not back to the population we had pre-famine.
Yep.
Fuck.
Collapse of the Ottoman Empire.
Like there,
we're not gonna accept that aid. We don't like you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Queen Victoria already killed one sultan of the Ottoman Empire, so you know. Did you hear that?
Enemy wants to help you out. No. I'm like, why not? They want to show some peace. No, they're the enemy. Jeez.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to go really get my walk in before it gets any hotter since it's already.
All right, go ahead. Head up.
70s. It was really fun to see you guys. All right. Bye, folks.
Later.
Wiley, you doing okay over your way? I see now you're up in California, right?
Yeah, Southern California, yeah.
Yeah, you doing okay over your way? Because I saw there in Arizona that blinds are melting.
Well, that's on the other side of a small mountain range. We're not too worried about it from here.
Okay.
It literally keeps the cold, a lot of the coldness from the Pacific on the San Diego side.
Okay.
It's a mild temperature. It's a mild, so it's not that hot.
I mean, it's been getting hot, but we're talking about like 80, 90 degrees, not 100 and something.
Yeah.
Hey, just remember, if you own a gas station and you get robbed, the cops are only a few hours away.
Not if you're in Oakland.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It took 9 fucking fucking. Well, then again, I've got to be honest. How can I blame the cops for wanting to bother going out there when the DA is not even going to charge anybody?
Well,
I
that
know.
isn't necessarily true, but I'll give you an example of something about how ridiculous it can be. About 15 years ago, actually probably longer than that, back when I was, excuse me, selling stuff on Craigslist, I went out to a mall to meet somebody who was buying a PlayStation 3 off of me, or at least he claimed to. Instead, he was trying to rob me, and he pulls a gun on me. Now, the reason I chose that mall was because at the time, the police department building was right across the street from the mall. So this guy pulls a gun on me. I know from experience, because my family are gun nuts, that one, it was a 22, and two, he didn't have a clip in it, so at most he had one in the chamber.
Magazine.
And at that point, I'd already been shot once with a 22.
A clip, a magazine.
No, this is a 22 hand pistol. It was a clip, not a magazine.
Oh, it's a magazine.
I will die on this hill. So basically, I beat the shit out of the guy. Well, after I pissed myself when he first pulled the gun out, because it took me a second to realize what it was. The security guard for the mall sees what's going on, and helps me out, in detaining the guy. Because at the time I was just sitting on him, and we call the police. It took them 45 minutes to go across the fucking street.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous what's going on. Look, in my town, okay, I live in a town of 600 people. We also have we have a county sheriff's department. We are understaffed, but we only have about a couple of thousand people living here. So, it's not surprising, but I've also got stand your ground, and I've got castle doctrine. So I don't have to worry about that shit.
The one for a gun.
What was that, Robin?
The one for a gun has actually increased on the last poll by some like 300% since 2020.
It's probably because all those fucking illegals fucking up your country.
Yep.
I think they prefer the term British.
No, actually, yeah, no.
Hey, Revan, just
Yo,
them all in Northern Ireland.
say what?
Oh no, he doesn't want to do that.
Just put all those illegals in Northern Ireland. Let the Brits handle it.
And no, they'll actually encouraging them to come to Ireland as is. They were sending them all to Kenya, but the new Prime Minister of the UK has already cancelled that. So plus it's an open border between Northern Ireland and Ireland, so all they have to do is just walk and they'll get here.
Yeah, the Labour Party's now in charge.
Don't you guys have guns in Ireland?
No.
No, dude.
God, no, they're incredibly
No.
I thought at least the Irish
You gotta have a permit to carry a sword. Come on.
bad. Swords are banned in Ireland.
I think. Wait, you
What the
can,
hell?
I thought you're supposed to have, at least have a permit.
Fighters.
I thought you can carry a sword if you had a permit. That was allowed, right?
No, they removed that.
Oh shit. Okay, never mind. You guys have gotten strict. Wow.
Jesus
So-
Christ, man! I thought you guys were like fighters and shit.
1917, we went to war against the British Empire. 1922, we had the Civil War. 1947, there was a minor insurrection attempt. 1948, to remove the guns.
Oh, good lord.
What was the
You
sword?
can't-
21? 22?
The sword
Had to been
was
recently.
20 after a
Okay.
guy used it to attack someone in Dublin.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
can
but that happened
have
recently.
a permit to carry a sword?
You used
Yeah.
to. Yeah, you used to have, in able to carry a sword, you had to have a permit. That used to be law. If you had no permit, you're under arrest, automatically detained.
In
You have
Ireland,
to
you were
permit to carry a crossbow?
if you carry a crossbow, you will be arrested on site.
Yeah, but if you have a sword and a
Well,
permit,
hold
don't
on.
fuck
To
with
be
you.
fair, hold on. To be fair, crossbows have been banned throughout Europe since their creation. I mean, on and off, they've been banned. So I can
Well,
kind of
yeah,
understand.
Why?
Hold on, Liz. Wait, you're going to hear NB Geeks blood pressure explode when I tell you this. In
Okay,
Ireland, you're
NB.
not allowed to carry any tools to defend yourself. Any tools of defense are currently banned. The motives of thinking if someone breaks into your house, stand aside. It'll be safer for you.
Oh my Jesus God.
If you go to if you assault someone, you can be arrested if the police determine that the method that you use to defend yourself was above and beyond. You cannot use a shotgun if you're a farmer, because there was a guy in Dublin a few years ago, in County Dublin now, not Dublin City, like, right? And these guys were breaking into his property with the whole sole idea of going to kill him. Two of the guys who survived stated they were going to kill him. The farmer shot and killed a guy who got into his house with a gun, straight killed him one shot. The farmer is now currently spending the rest of his life in prison. He was a 68-year-old grandfather in a wheelchair when he was arrested.
Jeez.
God Almighty! And I thought California.
Okay, but I want to go. I want to go back to the crossbow thing and be the reason why they were banned throughout Europe back in the day was because one, you didn't need to have any skill whatsoever to use a crossbow. Any peasant with a crossbow could now fire a bolt. So that was one of the reasons. And two, the crossbow bolts were able to penetrate armor. And the only people that was a threat to were nobles who could afford armor. And they literally didn't want the peasantry to have the ability to kill a noble at any time, even if they're wearing a very expensive suit of armor.
Oh,
1328 peasants uprising. Most of the
Yeah.
peasants had crossbows.
That pesky Second Amendment we have in America.
Well, this is before America existed.
I know, but I mean, my God in heaven. I mean, that's why we have something like the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, Revan, when you going to immigrate to the States, man?
I can't.
Because of medical reasons?
Personal reasons. We'll
leave that alone. We can always talk about that offline if you want to.
Yeah. So recently, shows you how wackadoodle Ireland is, right? An usher working in Leinster House, the Dáil, which is our prime ministerial buildings, recently posted on Twitter some anti-immigrant sentiment. He is currently under arrest and lost his job in Government House.
Well, was it warranted? Like, was it kill all immigrants or was it something else?
No, it's like deport them.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah, but that's Ireland, buddy. That's not us. You got to remember, man, guys, I don't think y'all realize our First Amendment right here, they don't have over there. Ireland, UK, places like that, yeah, they have freedom of speech, but it's limited.
It's limited here too, so just in different ways.
We don't have freedom of consequences.
Not to the degree theirs is.
Their freedom of assembly basically is under threat.
Yeah,
the problem here is if you say something that a group of people doesn't like, they equate the fact that it's a social issue that's saying that you shouldn't say that, not the law saying that you shouldn't say that, and equating it as still a loss of freedom of speech.
The government keeps going on and on about far right, but they refuse to define what far right is.
Yeah, I've noticed that also. There's another thing I do want to point out. The European right, the European left, and the American right and the American left are not the same as those in Europe. It doesn't work that way. Their
We
right
don't-
is not our right.
We don't have a right and a left.
No, you guys are pretty much centrist in the socialist department. It's just who's running the country and who's got the power.
That's actually changing across Europe. It's center right leaning in a lot of places now.
Yeah, but you haven't defined what right is.
No. I said far right.
Well, they said and I don't know jack shit about the EU, so I'm not even going to pretend to think about it. But they were saying, no. What I was saying is they had their election and they were calling like, oh, the far right took over. And I'm like, what is your definition of a far right in Europe? Because I don't know what that means.
The right. The joke in Europe is anyone to the right of Lenin is far right to them.
Oh, Lenin.
Yeah. So essentially anyone to the right of Lenin is far right to these people. They refuse to define what far right is.
Yeah, but Lenin was a communist.
That's the joke.
But that's a left-wing ideology.
Yeah. So is
Starfleet.
Let's be fair though that Lenin's version of communism was not necessarily a leftist leaning version.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
It was. Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
So virtually all of Europe had basically universally agreed that socialism was the way to go,
but it wasn't real. It wasn't. Look at the type of socialism they were trying to say was socialism. It didn't actually fall under that definition that we would use even back then.
Well, you look at communism, you look at Nazism, you look at fascism, you look at imperialism.
Let me give you an excuse or an example. A socialist program we have in the United States would be the Postal Service.
No,
but there's also yes, it is.
Not. No,
yes, it is.
Government service. It's not a. I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay.
It's government ran. There's
Hold
private
on.
services like UPS, FedEx.
NB, if I want to hold on. NB, if I want to ship a letter to my neighbor and I want to ship a letter to you, is it going to cost me the same amount for both?
You're asking the wrong person. I haven't sent a letter in forever. I mean, if you're going to send a letter,
the reason for that is if you send a letter to your neighbor,
mailbox,
the letter is traveling through the local system. Meanwhile, if you send a letter to NB Keep, the letter now has to go through multiple sorting systems, pass through multiple hands.
Yes, but it costs the same.
Okay.
So does
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where I'm sending it to someone in the United States. Even if I'm sending something to Germany, to a military base in Germany, it'll still cost me the same amount of money.
No,
if he wants to send a postcard from San Diego to Fairbanks, it's the exact same amount from San Diego to Maine. The exact same cost.
VileMike, if you send something over foreign, you have to declare. You have to fill out the form.
Okay.
As long as it's going to a military base, it costs the same amount.
That is an APC or an FPC.
But I'm saying it will cost me the same amount of money, regardless of where it's going.
No, it will cost.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, as someone who ships stuff to people all over the country and all over the world.
And I'm telling you, my wife who was in Afghanistan and Turkey for a year.
I have sent
on the weight.
Andy, I have literally during when we were in Afghanistan and Iraq, I was sending stuff to military bases in those countries, and it would cost the same amount for me if I was sending it to somewhere in the same city.
I sent a box to
it depends on the
Boston.
shape, and the size, and the weight of it.
Yeah, I sent a parcel. Two identical parcels.
If it was identical, it would cost the same amount.
No, it depends where you ship.
Yes, it does.
So I have sent two identical parcels, one to Boston and one to Ohio. The one to Ohio cost me more than the one to Boston.
Well, because you're not using shipping within the United
Yeah.
States.
Yeah, you're not. The starting location isn't the United States.
No, but it's going through the from UNPUS to USPS.
But last time I checked, Ireland is not part of the United States.
Yeah,
No.
but
No.
I'm still kind of confused on where you're talking. This is a socialist program.
Because it doesn't charge more for it. Okay,
Okay, let me
If
talk
I-
about universal
if
health care.
if I'm rich, does it cost me more or less, or does it cost me the same thing as a poor person?
What difference does that make?
That's a socialist idea.
That's a socialist idea.
Yeah,
that-
it costs the same
no matter
amount for a
who
rich
you
person.
are-
Yeah.
No matter who you are, it'll cost the same amount.
Yeah, but I
Okay,
can use the same argument. It's going to do. I go to Amazon and
No, But
I pay for
no,
$9
Amazon.
shipping.
Hold on, Amazon is not the USPS. They are allowed to charge you more if the package is traveling further away.
And they use different sources for delivery. USPS, the U.S. Postal Service, and Amazon itself. They use multiple
Okay,
sources for delivery.
let me tell you about the Irish semi-universal healthcare. Okay, my friend had gallbladder issues. Her gallbladder was rupturing, and she needed to get it taken out. They left her for 2 years. The only reason why they took it out is because she screamed like a woman who was in labor, and blood and what looked to appear to be bile came out of her mouth. She passed out, and we nearly lost her. If she had the money, they said she would have had the choice to gone and getting it left out. I have mobility issues, right? I have gone to multiple doctors about it, and you want to know what I got last time I was there? A leaflet.
Yeah, sorry, dude. Your medical sucks.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
medical system here also kind of sucks. When I got
But if I had the money in America, I would not have the issues I have now. Wanna know why? Because my cousin has the same thing on one of his feet that I have on two of mine, and he's walking around fine because
Well,
he went and got the surgery.
it's almost funny you said the whole gallbladder thing because my sister had gallstones and they perforated her gallbladder and she ended up having to have that removed as well. This was it was life threatening, so they brought her in right away. But
Yeah.
this happened 10 years ago. She's still paying almost $1,000 a month for the bill.
Oh, hey, Revan.
She has literally paid well over $250,000 over the course of 10 years for her life-saving surgery, and is still not even halfway paying it off.
Hold on, what's you saying, B?
Oh, I was gonna say you mentioned your cousin in
Yeah.
Boston. How's he and his husband doing?
Yeah. Just
Oh.
put it here like that.
Oh, so there's some drama there. Never mind.
No one's doing good. Well, depends who you ask. Politics getting in the way of fucking everything. But
No, are they arguing about Are they both arguing about politics?
arguing would require them being in the same room.
Oh no! What is it? A Trump bot? Are they divided
All
on
right.
the Trump Biden thing?
Well, I'm not going to go into that right now. In fact, I just realized we've been over 2 hours, and I have to go to work today.
Oh,
So
shit. I didn't
You
hear
might
that.
just
I'm
have
going. So, Revan, you're not here that often. I'm going to let you choose what clip I should play. Which clip should I play?
you choose.
I like that last one you
Let's do
did.
something. Let's do something jaunty, shall we?
Okay.
Life forms, you tiny little life forms, you precious little life forms. Where are you?
You know, I'm gonna be honest. Troy looks sexier when she went into the full uniform.
Yeah.
Hold on. And I got to end with a vile child. All right. I got to go. I didn't realize what time it was. Later, folks.
Okay.
Later,
Later.
guys.